So in terms of regenerative medicine, what can we do? Or what do we hope to do? So what about patient-specific stem cell therapy? So here's a fella who suffers from some sort of neurological disorder like Parkinson's disease. One avenue is to harvest stem cells from the bone marrow that are circulating in the blood. So these are blood stem cells. They can be differentiated outside of the body into a neuronal cell type, a neuron, for example. These nerve cells can then be re-implanted into the donor, so now the donor is the host, and hopefully these stem cells that have been differentiated into neurons will be able to treat the disease rather than just the symptoms. Another thing to do is if it's a more difficult cell type to obtain using these postnatal stem cells, one could theoretically take a cell as simple as a skin cell from a patient and generate patient-specific embryonic stem cells. And this is called nuclear transfer, where his genetic material or her genetic material is transferred into an egg whose nucleus has been removed. Now this egg with its new nucleus will undergo cell division to basically start to form an embryo in the cell culture dish. So here's that blastocyst again. Here are the blue, for the sake of being able to distinguish them here in the visual, inner cell mast cells. These can be harvested, propagated in the laboratory, and then differentiated into a number of cell types: nerve, cardiac muscle, skeletal muscle, blood, etc., and re-implanted into the host. And these are things that we're all working on. Here's a project that's near and dear to my heart, and it's the use of postnatal stem cells for the treatment of ischemic cardiac disease, heart attack. When a human has a heart attack, the viable cells that contribute to cardiac function die, and that area that they occupied in the heart now becomes populated by a scar. And this compromises heart function and leads to a number of further pathologies that shorten both quality and length of life. So one idea is that, and these have been tried in animal systems, at the left is to inject harvested adult stem cells directly into the infarcted or dead region of the heart. And hopefully these adult stem cells will differentiate in vivo to regenerate the compromised cardiac tissue. It's a fantastic outcome if it proves to be successful and applicable to human clinical use, to have regenerated cardiac muscle rather than a scar compromising cardiac function. Another therapy which is under active investigation is the injection of adult bone marrow stem cells into the vasculature of an animal that has an experimental disease. Here, a rat that has been subjected to heart attack. And these stem cells might not necessarily traffic to the infarct and become new cardiac muscle, but they send a bunch of molecular signals to cells that are already present and tells them, hey, here's an area that needs some help. So let's have some blood vessels grow into here and feed oxygen and nutrients to this compromised area, and at least make a patch which helps the heart to have closer to normal function. So both outcomes have been reported. Another application of stem cells to regenerative medicine is gene therapy. So if you suffer from diabetes, for example, perhaps its cause is a mutation in the gene for insulin, which is produced by the cells, a specific type of cell in the pancreas. Well, if the insulin gene, the human insulin gene, can be reintroduced by targeting pancreatic cells, you can actually have this gene using a virus to go in and basically infect your target pancreatic cells with the gene for insulin. So it would be a very effective cure, if you will, for diabetes.